Hey, Paul here. Today I want to talk about fats. So for people that are my age or maybe a little older, you remember back in like the late 80s and the 90s where fats were really demonized and pretty much the government told you that you shouldn't eat or eat as little fat as possible and replace all that fat with carbs. Of course, most of us, especially in the fitness industry, know how that turned out and how bad of an idea that was. But nowadays, you have kind of the opposite going on. You have people doing the keto diet, which is where they recommend you do 80% fat. I still can't figure out how you can do that and not be violently ill. But you also have diets like, the keto diet, which do that, and you have the Atkins diet, which focus on more proteins and fats. You even have something called the bacon experiment, look it up, where you eat like a pound of bacon like every meal of the day. Yet again, I'm not really sure how that works too. I love bacon, but I'd probably get pretty sick of it. So what is the thing with fat? So depending on how you want to set up your how to break up the macronutrients, there's usually like a 30-30-40 kind of split. So I would recommend that fats be one of the 30s, and then the other two you can kind of play with as you please, depending on what your health and fitness goals are. But there are a few different kinds of fats, and you kind of want most of them in your diet. There is one you want to avoid. So you do want to have, as much monounsaturated fat as you can kind of get in your diet. Things like the Mediterranean diet really focus on things like that. But you do want polyunsaturated fats too. Those come from other sources, but make sure it's more animal-based and stuff like that instead of all the oils, because those have a lot of omega-6s, which you kind of want to avoid as well. And then there's also saturated fat, which most people think of as the bad fat. Saturated fat is not really that as bad for you as a lot of people would like to make it seem. You do need some in your diet. It helps to make hormones for you to do lots of functions in your body, especially if you're a man. It helps you make testosterone, and you kind of want to need testosterone. Not too much, but you definitely want to make sure your body produces it. So the one fat you do want to avoid is trans fats. But pretty much everyone knows that. Trans fats are, for the most part, man-made. You can find a little bit of natural trans fats in meat. But for the most part, they make it by, hydrolyzing the polyunsaturated fat to make it more stable and so it will last longer and not go rancid. But when it's in your body really doesn't recognize it. It causes inflammation and ends up with a lot of bad things going on. So again, you do want fat in your diet. You don't want to try to avoid it, but you don't want ridiculous amounts either. Try to stick with healthy whole sources. If you eat meat, great. You can get your fats from that. Otherwise, if you're a vegetarian, nuts, oils, avocados, stuff like that. So if you have any other questions about fats or any other health and fitness related questions, we can set up a free coaching session. So to do that, either leave a comment below or you can PM me if you don't want to leave it in the comments. And next time, I actually don't know what I want to talk about. So whoever's watching this, if you have some ideas, please let me know. And until next time, this is Paul F. Sweat, certified personal trainer. Train smart, train hard, train safe, train the sweat.